Oh, wait, hold on. There's one thing that is extremely Polish. Okay, we got a Polish topic that I have to talk about. When did it happen? Let me see. Let me consult Google. I do want to talk about this because I don't think if I won't talk about it, I'm pretty sure nobody else is going to talk about it. So on the 24th of March at 4:23, I believe it's AM, once again a Russian missile has entered Polish airspace once again without any consequence. It just sort of entered the Polish airspace and then left to, I guess, hit some Ukrainian target. And this is starting to create sort of conversation. Well, it always creates it creates conversation every single time it happens, but it has been happening more and more. And the question that arises that sort of becomes pretty, I don't know, prescient is okay, if there are missiles that are just entering Polish airspace, then why doesn't Poland just shoot them down? I mean, it's an it's a hostile missile entering our airspace. Why don't we just shoot it down? And there are many sort of explanations to this. I read a whole thread of a person explaining that there are complications when it comes to this sort of thing, that in order to shoot down a missile, you actually have to halt all airspace around this sort of area of shooting down the missile because you don't want to accidentally shoot down any other target like a civilian plane or any other target that is actually not the missile, that the falling debris from the missile could actually kill somebody, and many other reasons, sort of like that it would be sort of because NATO and Poland are supposed to keep their cards next to their chest, and shooting down the missile would sort of be uh, giving away to Russia what capabilities Poland has, and that that is not really what Poland would like to do before any sort of actual confrontation happens. There's there's many aspects to this apparently that are being considered. But that I've also heard from some specialists, from some actual government specialists, that it would be best to simply shoot it down. So the I guess the actual opinions on this will vary. Is there actual let me see. We're gonna listen to him directly. We're just gonna listen to this dude directly. Of course I'm gonna translate him. He's just Polish, and as you know, the majority of this audience, of my lovely viewers, do not speak Polish at all. Which is a shame, of course. You should all speak Polish. You should all be speaking Polish. Why are you not speaking Polish? Okay, let's see. I'm gonna show you. So the chief of the Security Bureau, the National Security Bureau, So this is not just some random dude. This is the chief of the National Security Bureau talking about this subject. Let's see what he has to say. Let's see what he has to say about this.
Do kwestii obrony wschodniej flanki NATO do kwestii obrony wschodniej flanki NATO.
So we need to approach the defense of the eastern NATO flank.
Przestrzeni powietrznej, to znaczy zacząć
And we need to sort of approach the security, the airspace security.
wykorzystywać pary dyżurne.
We need to sort of put personnel on alert.
Do realizowania zadań obronnych.
And they have to be prepared for the realization of defensive tasks
W przestrzeni powietrznej.
in airspace.
Jeżeli pociski są skierowane i ich trajektoria wskazuje na możliwość naruszenia przestrzeni powietrznej.
And they have to be able to perform tasks if the missile trajectory indicates that it will enter Polish airspace.
Co pan słyszy, że Polska
One
powinna...
powinny być strącane.
So what are you suggesting that Poland should? Yes, I'm suggesting that Poland should shoot those missiles down.
No tak, zestrzeliwać te pociski,
Well, right, shoot them down.
które lecą w kierunku... No tak,
Terytorium NATO.
Yes, all missiles that are entering NATO airspace should be shot down.
no tak, ale to jest chyba oczywiste.
Well, that's pretty obvious, isn't it?
No jak do
Well, up to this point,
Czy dzisiaj to nie jesteśmy do tego przygotowani?
are we not prepared to do this?
Gdyby
jak
tak było.
dotąd mieliśmy z tym bardzo duży problem.
Up to this point, we've been having some problems when it comes to this.
On wynikał również z regulacji formalnych.
It came down to also things like regulations.
Również z procesu podejmowania decyzji, ale
It also came down to decision-making processes.
też z pewnej kultury
But it also came from a certain culture,
pracy
the work culture
państw pozostających
of states that are still in peace mode, basically.
w warunkach pokoju.
Yeah, it sort of has something to do with states operating within a peace paradigm. So that is basically what we have. We have Russia that time and time again seems to be probing whether or not it can just enter Polish airspace without any repercussion, really, which many state is basically a form of probing and provocation. And also we sort of see this interesting approach that Russia has done this several times at this point. At this point, like, it's been quite a few times when missiles, like, it's from what I understand, it's Russian missiles enter Polish airspace and then immediately go back, because this supposedly is meant to confuse Ukrainian anti-air systems. So this is supposed to confuse Ukrainian anti-air somehow and make sure and up the probability of the missile hitting its target somehow. And now finally, people in Poland and people in other places are sort of waking up to the fact, hey, those missiles are sort of entering NATO airspace. They should just be shut down. And some people say, because there's been this argument of, hey, if we shoot it down, the debris of the missiles might actually kill somebody when falling down. And apparently the idea has been floated around that if there's if it's sort of, because even here it's been talked about, like if we see that the trajectory of the missile indicates that is going to enter Polish airspace, then it could be shut down even still when in Ukraine, it's heading for the Polish airspace, shut it down even if it's still within Ukrainian airspace. And um, apparently, I'd have to look into this. Apparently, Ukraine has given Poland its okay for stuff like that to be done. That if a missile is sort of, you can track the trajectory, you can sort of see that it's heading for Polish airspace. Bam, you shut you shoot it down before it even reaches the Polish airspace, which it makes perfect sense, right? It's perfectly logical. It would make perfect sense for that to happen. And Ukraine's apparently okay with it. So I'm not sure. Maybe next time we'll. Who knows? I mean, it's too late to do that now, but perhaps, who knows? Perhaps next time there is a missile headed for Polish airspace that is supposed to confuse Ukrainian anti-air. Maybe Poland will just shoot it down because it's a missile headed for NATO airspace. So why not? Keep in mind that would not really be an escalation on Poland's or NATO's part because it's a Russian missile entering NATO airspace. If anything, that's an escalation from Russia's part. Like, Poland and NATO, in my opinion, are fully within their rights to just shoot down missiles that enter their airspace. So how would that be escalation? That would make, like, claiming that's escalation would make no sense. It would make no logical sense. Like at that point, why not drive with tanks for a second, like through the Polish border and back, and other armored vehicles, you know? And if Poland would attack them, it would be like, oh, escalation. That makes no sense. It's silly. So I'm certainly hoping to see future missiles being shot down. I'm hoping that the statement from the chief of the National Bureau of Security in Poland has not just been blowing hot air, that statement actually means something, and that in the future we will be seeing missiles being shot down. So that's it. That's it when it comes to this topic. How did you like? Oh yeah, by the way. Okay, we're gonna go back to the Polish missile thing for a second. Because I forgot, okay. Apparently, Poland has actually demanded the Russian ambassador to explain himself when it comes to this whole missile business entering Polish airspace. And the Russian ambassador has failed to show himself to explain what's up with the missile. And hence, once again, the missile entering the airspace is believed to be a deliberate move by Russia, which, surprise, surprise, right? What a shocking revelation that Russia would ever do such a thing on purpose. How How unexpected, right? I have found an article, so we're gonna be reading about it. I'm gonna be reading about the Polish missile. I am. I will 1 billion% guarantee that nobody else is talking about the missile entering the Polish airspace. Polish General Staff considers Russian missiles a violation of airspace to be deliberate, which I'm not shocked by this revelation. Like, it's been speculated for a long time, even if in the past instances of missiles entering Polish airspace, that it's basically just um, Russia trying to disorientate Ukrainian anti-air defense. So that's not a. Wiesław Kukuła, chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Poland, has stated that the incident of a Russian missile entering the airspace of Poland was to large extent a deliberate act. Yeah, I don't know. It feels so obvious to me that I'm surprised that it even needs to be stated. But I guess it does, you know? Source European Pravda with reference to Kukua's statement cited by the RMF FM, a radio station, a very famous radio station in Poland. There's a certain interviewer in RMF FN that is always so snarky and sarcastic that I've actually considered covering some of his interviews, but I'm not sure if covering those particular interviews will not kill the stream. So I've been hesitant. One day I might try to do it because it is pretty funny. It is a pretty funny thing to behold that a sarcastic person. You can. Details. Kukua explained at a briefing on the 25th of March that the Polish airspace was violated by a Russian KH-101 missile with a programmable trajectory. I guess the programmable trajectory is the key aspect here, right? It means that it had to be programmed to enter Polish airspace. It just basically means that it had to be programmed to enter Polish airspace. There's no way, there's just no question of a mistake. Russian missiles have a relatively low precision, so either circumstance is possible. The missile could have been deliberately programmed, or it could have just deviated from the programmed trajectory, Kukua said. The official believes that targets moving on the border of two countries always create a very complicated situation in terms of their destruction, since if we had destroyed the missile, it could have led to undesirable actions by the other party. Which I I don't buy this. Like this seems like such a cowardly way to approach things, in my opinion. After all, it is, at the end of the day, Russian missiles entering Polish airspace at this point, time and time again. So what, should Russians just be able to fly their missiles in on Polish territory without consequence? Because shooting them down will be escalation. This, that is such a nonsensical proposition to me. The same thing could happen if Ukraine were to attempt to destroy it with a missile. This missile may fall down on the Polish territory and cause certain consequences. I mean, it sort of did happen before. A stray Ukrainian missile did land on Polish territory before. And a person died even, I'm pretty sure. So it's not a hypothetical. And we didn't really see much in terms of consequences then, apart from the whole world holding its breath and thinking that Poland is a wild country that will totally surely use Article 5, that it would happen. And to everybody's shock, Poland responded by saying, calm down, let's not jump to conclusions, let's not get crazy, let's keep our calm. This was one of those rare situations in which both the then ruling Law and Justice Party and the opposition united in this message of saying, let's all calm down, let's not jump to any hasty conclusions, let's not make any rushed decisions. We don't know what happened exactly, we don't have all the facts, we have to do more, we have to wait for things to clarify, and then we'll be able to make a decision on what to do. And then it turned out to be sort of like a stray Ukrainian anti-air missile that sort of entered Polish territory and killed a person or something. Right, so continuing the article. That was a long time ago. Now we have a new situation. So our current approach to this situation is we choose to believe that it was to a large extent a deliberate act on Russia's part, Kukua said. He added separately that Poland had informed NATO representatives about the incident, and in a few hours I was informed that our reaction was exemplary, like our allies expected it to be. Damn. Praise. Poland has been praised by NATO. I still think Poland should just be shooting them down, but background at 4:23 on in the morning of 24th of March, a Russian missile violated Polish airspace during a Russian missile attack on Ukraine. The missile reportedly entered Polish airspace near the village of Osierdów in the Lublin voivodeship. It was there for 39 seconds. Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz, Minister of National Defense of Poland, stated that Poland would have downed the Russian missile if there had been signs it was headed to a target in the Polish territory. I mean, I highly doubt these sort of missiles that enter Polish territory will ever actually be sent there to hit any target in Poland. At least currently, as long as Russia is busy fighting Ukraine, that would make absolutely no sense. It makes no sense for Russia to attack any target in Poland right now. But it is speculated once again that Russia sends those missiles to Polish territory, immediately turns them back to confuse Ukrainian anti-air systems. How much this theory is true, how much this sort of strategy actually works, that is no idea. That is one hypothesis as to what's happening. That is one possible hypothesis as to why Russia keeps sending missiles to Polish airspace. So of course, there are other explanations, like for example, Russia probing how fast Poland can detect a Russian missiles in Poland's airspace. Probing the reaction itself, probing reaction time, probing communication, etc., etc. Those are all also valid explanations as to why Russia, from time to time, casually violates Polish airspace with its missiles that almost immediately turn back and head towards Ukrainian targets.